Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today TV. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is Market Today, a show where we'll help you understand all the latest cues from the D Street, starting from the benchmark index moves, the sectoral action today and all the stocks that are buzzing the most in trade. Also, where are the opportunities emerging for you as an investor to pick up stakes at and also invest in the markets? We'll be discussing all of this and much more with our expert today. But first up, a quick check on how the markets are doing at this point in time. Well, after yesterday's sharp rebound that we had seen in the markets, they are seeing some profits being taken off the table. 0.25% fall for both the Nifty and the Sensex. 18,357 currently for the Nifty, 40 points lower. Sensex also hovering about 160 points down in trade at 62,181. The broader markets in tandem seeing some weakness. Also the sectoral indices, most of them, in fact, the mid-cap and the small-cap 100 indices are actually doing much better than the benchmark indices. If you look, the mid-caps are actually up by 0.7%. The small-cap 100 index is up by 0.6% also. That's exactly where the buying is really emerging from. When we talk about the sectors, most of the sectors are actually sluggish in trade today, barring some gains coming in on the IT pack, on the PSU banks as well. Slight recovery coming in on the pharma pack. The oil and gas stocks look steady at this point in time, but rest of the sectors are actually down in trade. The Nifty Bank is down by 0.1%. Financial services slightly lower. Also, when we talk about the other spaces like the financial services and the FMCG stocks, they are also down in trade. The private banks not participating as well in trade today. Now, when we talk about the big drag factors in today's trading session, the stocks that are actually not really performing well, M&M, for example, is down in trade. Power Grid, Kotak Mahindra Bank, Maruti Apollo Hospital. So it's a mixed bag. The stocks from various sectors that are down in trade. HDFC Twins trading down on the ex-dividend date today. Whereas the stocks that are supporting the sentiments and stemming the kind of fall, Bajaj Finance, oil and gas stocks like ONGC, BPCL, NTPC and Coal India are some of the other stocks that are actually hovering about 1% up in trade as we speak as well. Let's welcome our guest on the show. Mr. Abhishek Basumalik joins in. He's the founder at Intelsense Capital. Abhishek, welcome to the show and thank you so much for taking the time out for this discussion. Well, your own sense of how are you looking at the markets? The last time we had been speaking with you, there was a complete lackluster movement. The markets were stuck in a very, very narrow range. But we did see over the last few trading sessions that the markets picked up some more momentum. We even saw that 18,400 mark inching. So both the Nifty Bank and the Nifty are actually inching closer to their record levels yet again. Your own thoughts on has there been a considerable shift, structural change in the market sentiment?
First of all, good afternoon, Sakshi, and good afternoon to all your viewers. I don't think there's been a structural shift. I think we are pretty much in the same sort of market, extremely lackluster. There's hardly any movement. Even though, individual stocks are reacting based on the results that we are seeing, this being the result season. But in general, I think the market is very, very lackluster, lacks any kind of momentum at all.
Right, you are absolutely right that there are some stock specific moves that we are seeing, especially on the back of earnings as well. A lot of stocks are reacting positively too. We did speak about the earnings season so far from you the last time around as well. So let's get down to speaking about some of the earnings that have come about. PVR-Inox is one considerable space that one is keeping an eye out on. We did see the markets open up and PVR-Inox really dipping about 4% in trade, with the losses escalating to 333 crore rupees despite revenues jumping 22%, and this is when PVR-Inox is reporting the results for the first time after the merger as well. In fact, they are now planning to shut about 50 loss-making cinemas as well over the next 6 months. So, what did you really read into the numbers so far? Are things going to be more testing for this multiplex chain before they recover for a long time?
See, I think, during the pandemic, the entire entertainment industry, or how we as consumers view entertainment or consume entertainment has changed to a great degree, right? With the kind of cost that is associated to going to a multiplex, people, I find at least, people around me are much more choosy. They want to see, go and see only, good movies. Rest, they are happy to wait for a month, 2 months to see that on OTT platforms. So, uh, you know, pretty much the future of PVR-Inox is going to be tied up with the quality of movies that we are going to see, getting released, and that is something that unfortunately is not within the control of this particular company.
So, how would you really advise investors to trade this stock? Those who have been holding this stock with the promise that the entertainment industry will continue to reap benefits or revenues going forward from here. This is one country where we love going out, we love going to watch movies for an outing. So, looking at that theme from a long-term perspective, those investors who had already invested in the shares before, what should they do?
See, I mean, I don't see any immediate triggers coming up for the company. The numbers have been rather weak. I don't see immediately that turning around in the next few months. So, if you have a very long-term horizon, you believe that movies are going to, people are going to continue to watch more and more movies in theaters,
Yeah.
uh, then you might want to take a call about that. But I would not want to take that call, because I think there has been a systemic shift in the viewage pattern of people, and I don't think people are going to go back to movie theaters in a hurry until and unless there is a definite amount of cost rationalization that happens in the tickets and in the food and all that is there.
Correct, correct. Apart from this PVR-Inox, the whole space, are you at all bullish on any other space stock as well from the leisure basket?
Not really. I mean, in the leisure basket, meaning if you're talking about uh,
Entertainment as a whole.
I don't think so. I mean, there are not too many listed options in this space, so nothing that immediately comes to mind, which is there uh, directly that we can sort of invest in.
Okay, understood that. What about companies from the QSR basket then, where also a lot of opportunities exist because there is a lot of M&A that happens with these multiplex majors for a lot of outlets to come out and give out their options as well. We do have kiosks of say a Pizza Hut or a KFC or Domino's right there. So players like Sapphire Foods, Jubilant Foods, Zomato, all of these, how do you really think of this space?
Yeah, I am a foodie personally, so I think anything India. If you look at people in general, I think we love to eat. So QSR is definitely going to do well. And again, if you look at, again, I come back to that same thing about the pandemic changing certain amount of behavior. A lot of ordering in has come in, a lot of
Yeah.
which actually favors these QSR chains, because they are more adept at delivering, whether it's pizzas or burgers or whatever. Now the question is more about distribution. The question is more about reaching out from beyond the metros to the other cities and towns of India, and that is where I think the next level of growth is going to come from, and that is what we need to watch out for. But personally, I think a lot of these QSRs are going to
Okay.
do well for a long period of time.
Okay. Apart from this, overall in the markets, are there any other new themes that you are looking at that may have looked interesting? I mean, we are looking at some of the macros really changing, crude oil continuously dipping. We have also seen windfall tax getting cut. Is that a space that you're watching out for, the oil and gas space? I do not know how much investment do you really have in the oil and gas space, but do you like the OMC or the larger oil and gas space at all?
Again, not too much, because there's too much of intervention from quarters which is beyond your control. So whether it is a government policy which comes in through taxes or windfall gains or whatnot, there's a lot of things that are beyond your control as a business owner. So not something I'm very interested in. But on the other side, if you look at consumers of oil and gas, I think that those are people who might benefit because if there's a prolonged reduction in prices in crude, etc. So players who uh, use power, for example, have been benefiting in this quarter. That's what we've seen. So again, in pockets, if you see results of banks and NBFCs, MFIs, they've been very good. So that's a very interesting pocket. Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, so and so forth. I mean, you look at the companies or the industries which are coming out with good results, and try to ascertain what is going right for them, and if that is a sustained advantage that they will likely to have for the next at least few quarters to few years, and that's the place to basically keep looking at.
Correct. Another space that actually uses crude as a derivative, the paint space, for example, they are looking interesting at this point because we've seen some numbers come out, be it Asian Paints performance or Berger's performance as well. The gross margins for them have expanded in this quarter. EBITDA is higher by about 6.5% for both of them as well. Good numbers for the paint industry. Anything that you like from this basket?
All of them are too richly valued for my personal taste, but I think again it's a very good set of businesses uh, with crude coming off. All of them are going to benefit. Real estate is picking up after many years, and so that should add to the add to the demand. So overall, I think paints looks good.
Yeah, okay. We have discussed a lot in the past about the banking and the financial names as well. This is also a theme that you were bullish on because, we were seeing at least one bright spot in the beginning of 2023 when all the others were lagging behind. Now, remember in 2022, the call for PSU banks was that they were cheap. NPA cycles had bottomed out, credit cycle had started. They have strong CASA, and you can only lend if you have good cash in your hand as well. And this is how PSU banks really came back and performed. Whether it is an SBI or a Bank of Baroda, Union Bank, we did see low NPAs, good CASA, strong credit growth. All of them benefited the numbers as well. What is the call right now? Is it like yesterday's story, or is it going to be tomorrow's trend as well?
It is. It was yesterday. It is today. It is tomorrow. The story will continue simply because India is a credit starved economy. Anybody who manages, to give credit at reasonable terms, is conservative with its management, is going to do well over short, medium, long periods of time. So this is a this is a sector where there is tremendous opportunity for growth, tremendous opportunity to create wealth, and also a lot of good players that we can pick from.
So, which are your top favorites in this space then?
So I personally always want to go with conservative managements, whether it's the top private banks or some of the top MFIs, NBFCs. So if personally for me, I would rather be in the private bank, NBFC, MFI space rather than
Okay.
in the PSU ones.
So would you still stick with an ICICI Bank or an HDFC, or would you go a little down or lower the ladder to an Axis or a Kotak Mahindra Bank as well?
So I'm not very sure if Axis and Kotak would agree with your views that they are down the ladder. But yeah, I mean those would be the top four definitely. Within the NBFCs, there are multiple which are doing very well. Chola is doing well. Shriram Finance is doing well. Uh, a lot of the MFIs that are the larger MFIs, Credit Access, Grameen, Equita, Sugjivan, all of these are doing well. And just as a disclosure, we have interests in some of the names that I just spoke about. So
Sure.
interest.
Okay, understood that. Well, thank you so much, Abhishek, for being with us and sharing all these insights about various sectors and themes that we did talk about in today's trading action as well. Market still trading a bit lower, about 180 points of a cut for the Sensex, 62,166. The Nifty hovering around 18,353 at this point in time as well. But what will the second half really have for the markets? Will we actually see a bounce back again? We need to keep an eye out on the numbers that actually come about, whether it is in the hands of some of the numbers that can actually get bulls back on the D straight today again before we see another trading action. But we'll keep an eye out on all the market movement, and you can track the same by being with us on Business Today TV and also engaging with us on social media platforms too.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I'm Tanya Aneja. Well, after a long period of underperformance, the Indian stock market has delivered positive returns in